Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Donna and I am a newly retired elementary school teacher. And I am starting this channel to kind of tap into that creative side of me that I really miss with teaching. So today we're going to get started with a recipe that we're going to make for dinner. This is a dish called slow cooker creamy chicken, and it sounds really good if we've never tried it before. So for this recipe, this actually is a 4-person recipe. I'm going to double the sauce on this recipe simply because I feel like the chicken may dry out. We're going to use a crock pot. The first thing the recipe calls for, we have to add some tomatoes. I'm using the Contadina diced tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomatoes, diced tomatoes that you want. This actually calls for a 14-ounce can, and I am going to double that and add the 28-ounce can of tomatoes. The next ingredient that we're going to add is the pasta sauce. Now, if you have a favorite, definitely use that. This is the one I'm using. It's the Rayo's marinara sauce, and this is really one of my favorite sauces to use. This is a 28-ounce, and I think I'm going to go ahead and add probably 2 cups of that. Then it says to add the garlic, salt, Italian seasoning, basil, and pepper to this. I didn't have the Italian seasoning for this, so I did add the basil, and then I added a little bit of oregano and thyme, and I think that's probably going to be enough for that Italian seasoning. So the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of garlic, and so I've got measured here 4 teaspoons of garlic. So we're going to add that. And then we're going to add this to our dish. Whisk together. And you can either use heavy cream or evaporated milk for this. And I'm using the evaporated milk just because we're trying to cut back and make things as healthy as we can. So this is just the evaporated milk, which has way less fat and calories as the heavy cream. So the recipe actually calls for half a cup of evaporated milk. And if you double that, that'd be a cup. So it was 12 ounces. I went ahead and used the whole can just so that we weren't wasting any. Now it calls for 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. We are going to add 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. So we're going to whisk it together. And this just makes it, if you try to add this to your mixture here, it would probably get pretty lumpy. And so that's why it's saying to whisk it in the milk or the cream, whatever you're using. We're going to whisk this right up. We're going to make sure we don't have any lumps. Make sure it's as smooth as we can get it. So we're going to add this to the slow cooker. Okay. And then I'm going to give everything just a stir here. Since I've got this whisk, I'm just going to kind of stir everything together, get those flavors kind of mixed together. All right, after we get this mixed together, it says to add our chicken breast and press them down into the sauce. And so it calls for 4 chicken breasts. Now, we buy our chicken breasts from a local farmer that he delivers every month. And so these are kind of big chicken breasts, but I did cut them. So I'm working with about, it's like almost 2 pounds of chicken. I think it was like 1.96. So we're going to go ahead and add these. We're going to press these down into the sauce. Like that. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. So this really smells delicious already. It's not even heated up, but the sauce really does smell good. So we're going to cook this for 4 hours on low. Alright, so we've got the lid on the crock pot. We're going to cut it on. It's on low, and we are setting the timer for 4 hours. So it was that easy. It really only took probably 10 or 15 minutes to put this together. That's after I had thawed out the chicken breast this morning. So, can't wait to taste it. Also, I forgot to mention, we're going to serve this over pasta. And I thought this was really fun. Barilla has a Valentine pasta, and since Valentine's Day is tomorrow, I thought how fun to use some Valentine pasta. So we're going to serve it over this heart-shaped pasta. So I thought I'd go ahead and introduce you to somebody. This is Teddy. Teddy is a Labradoodle, and he is still, you can tell how huge he is. He's still a puppy, and he is just the best dog ever. We actually got him from the local SPCA back in April, and he weighed about, I guess he weighed about 16 pounds when we got him, and now he's like 65 pounds. He just turned a year old in December. So around this time every day, Teddy takes a nap. So when he does that, just because he is still a puppy, I try to sit down and do something kind of calm, because he's the type dog that he follows you everywhere you go. So we're going to sit down and read. And this is the book that I'm currently reading. And please don't pay attention to this. Like I said, he is a puppy. And if he gets bored, he will get into things like this book. But this is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. And it is like a rom-com. But I am about 80 pages, and I'll be done with this book. And I had to kind of get something like this to read because I just finished that Beartown trilogy, and it gets you emotionally. So I picked up this book, and it's really relevant because it's about 2 second grade teachers, and I taught second grade, so that's kind of fun. And it's kind of the enemy to lovers, so you know what's probably going to happen at the end. But so far, it's been a good read. So we're going to sit down and we're going to read for maybe, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes. One thing I do want to share is I really like the way this author, at the very beginning, she has an author's note and content warning about some triggers and a little bit of spice that appears in the book. And she says, "Dear reader, I'm so excited for you to meet Emily and Jackson. If you are the kind of reader who prefers to know the heavier topics and potential triggers before you begin reading, please be advised that there are themes of grief and mild accompanying depression, as well as portrayal of a narcissistic parent. However, I've written these topics with great care and in such a way that is meant to bring comfort rather than pain. Likewise, if you prefer to read closed-door romances and would like to modify this story so that you're not involved in the details of their intimacy scenes, chapters 25 and 32 should be skipped. Happy reading." And I thought that was that's really good. I've never seen an author do that before. Okay, so nap time is over and for the puppy, and I'm folding a few clothes because, you know, laundry never ends, ever. And I've got another dog that's going to show herself, show herself in the vlog, I think, too. This is Blossom. Blossom is a Maltese Terrier mix, and she's also a shelter puppy. And she is, let's see, you are 5 years old, so she'll be 6 this year. So we have We have the Labradoodle, and then we have her, and then we have a Sphinx cat, a hairless cat, and her name is Lily. And Lily's not going to hang out with the dog. She does come out, but they don't necessarily like lay together. Um, but it's actually her birthday today. She is 9 years old. So I'm sure I'll get some footage of her at some point. One thing I like to do too is I like to craft. That's another thing that I'm really enjoying during my retirement is crafting. And I would like to show you my book journal. I've seen these all over the internet really, and I thought that looks fun. And as an elementary teacher, we did projects, art projects, things like that, and crafts, and we were cutting and gluing, and I just miss all of that. So I started a book journal in January just to see if I could keep up with it, and so far I have. I will show you that in just a second. I'm going to finish folding these clothes and then show you that, and then I have to get ready to go to the gym. I try to work out. That's my other little retirement. I started right after I retired. I started the gym. I started going to a gym because I really enjoy classes, going to classes that have other people. And so my daughter and I both go to the gym, and we do body pump and we do Pilates. And Thursday night is our night that we actually have a double class. So we're going to do our body pump for an hour, and then we'll do Pilates for 45 minutes afterwards. So yeah, we're getting ready to do that, and then once we get back, we'll get to look at our dinner and see what it's looking like, and we'll get our pasta boiled, and we're going to eat dinner. So I'm excited about trying this recipe. It smells good. So I am excited to be able to try this dish out. And I'll see you in just a minute when I share my journal. This journal is from Amazon. And I really like it because it's got really thick paper and the pages are numbered. So that was one of the things that made me decide that I wanted to get this journal. And they have all different like animals and insects and things like that. So this was just the moth one. But I'm just going to do a quick little run through of this. And to start with, this is my title page, or just the cover page. And then it just had these two little empty pages right here. And so I just did a little design on there for 2025. And then, I don't know what this page is for. This is the key. I just left it blank because I didn't really know what I wanted to put there. But this is my index. This is the index that I have going right now. So this is how far I've gotten. And then these just continue with the index. But this is my book tracker. And initially, I had set a goal of 50 books, but then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to set a goal. I'm just going to read for fun and see how we do. I think I read 55 books last year, and that was with me working. But really, during retirement, I feel like I have less time to read than I did before. But so I'm just filling in these little books as I go, and I'm not really going to pay attention to that reading goal. And then this is my monthly tracker. So each time I finish a book, I'm going to color in. And this went with something else I had, and I just decided to use it. So far I've read 2 books in February, and I'm about to finish that 3rd book that I was reading earlier today, and hopefully get started on a 4th book tonight. Monthly favorites, I just made a rectangle to glue in the cover, the picture of the cover. And so January, hands down, Frederick Backman, The Winners, was my absolute favorite book. And then Battle of the Books is just like a bracket system, kind of like the March Madness, and you just fill it in, and then it narrows down to one book at the end of the year. So, of course, I've only got one filled in, the winners. That was January. And then I have my 5-star reads right here as well. And these are, so far, my 5-star reads were from January, and I couldn't believe I had 3 5-star reads for January. That's like unheard of. But if you notice, these two are both Frederick Backman, Us Against You and the Winners. And this is a trilogy. And then The Frozen River. And I do have a video on just kind of reviewing those books. And then I have this page that is authors I love. And then anticipated releases. The Crash came out in January. So if it's highlighted, I've just already pre-ordered. So I pre-ordered The Crash, and then Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I really like her books too. And I have pre-ordered one that's coming out in April by her. And then Frederick Backman's also coming out with a new book in May called My Friends that I'm interested in reading. And then I have this page that was my kind of planned reads. Winter Solstice, Us Against You, How to Read a Book, The Frozen River. And I was going to read a book called Northwoods, and I started reading it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. It was written in like just kind of old-timey language. It's very hard to, I don't know. I tried. I read like 25 pages and I didn't finish it. And then I added the winners to it. And then I have my reviews. So here's my review of Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher. And then Us Against You, which is that second Beartown book. And then powerful quotes. There were so many good quotes in the Us Against You that I felt like I needed to put some of those in. And then this is my review for The Frozen River. And if you notice, all these are kind of wintry decorated just because January was a winter month. So I used washi tape, I printed out some pictures, I used some stickers, different things like that. And How to Read a Book, that was literary fiction that I read. And then the last book of January was Beartown, The Winners. Loved that one as well. And there were 2 quotes that I just really, that kind of stuck with me in that book, so I put those with it. And then I started my February reviews. And right now, let's see, The Crash, Finding Me by Viola Davis, Beg, Borrow, Steal, Love in Other Words, and The Reformatory. I've already finished this one as well. I just hadn't gone and highlighted it. This was a memoir, and it was really good. I'll finish this one tonight. And then I've got 2 more that I'm kind of wanting to read before the end of February. So we'll see if I can finish those up as well. And I've already reviewed one book. I reviewed The Crash by Frida McFadden. I read that like the first couple days of February. And psychological thriller. And I usually just love her books, but this one just, I don't know, this one didn't do it for me. So I kind of rated 3 stars, maybe 3.5. It wasn't terrible. It's just there were some things that I didn't enjoy about the book. But, I would still recommend it, I think. Not my favorite, but not a total waste of money either. So she has another one coming out called The Tenant that I'm going to buy too. So I usually read all of her books as they come out. And then that's as far as I've gotten. So this is just a memory for me, and it lets me craft and cut and do those kind of fun things too. And I'll be sharing some other crafts I like to do, but this is just one I wanted to share. So this is my 2025 book journal. Happy Valentine's Day. Today is Friday, February 14th, and I am going to make some Thumbprint cookies. These are like delicious, buttery shortbread cookies, and we're going to fill these in with strawberry jam. So I think these are going to be delicious. So getting ready to make the cookies, we are going to use 1 cup of unsalted butter. So I've got 2 sticks of Kerrygold unsalted butter, and we're going to use 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, 2 large egg yolks, which I've already separated from the egg because it says room temperature. We're going to use a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, and then we'll be using about 1/2 cup of strawberry jam. So we're going to be taking the butter and the sugar, and we're going to be mixing that together. So we're going to take our butter. Now I said they were going to be buttery, right? So nobody said this was healthy, but hey, it's Valentine's Day, right? Everybody needs to have a little sweet treat. Sorry, that was the oven preheating. Everybody deserves a little sweet treat in their life on Valentine's Day. So that's the first stick. And add the second stick of butter. Okay. We're going to add 2/3 cup sugar to our bowl. All right, we're going to check that and see if it is enough. If we've mixed this enough, I've got a little spatula here. So let's check it and see. We'll mix the eggs, the vanilla extract, and the salt. So let's get ready to add that. All right, so we're going to add our eggs and our vanilla and our salt to this. So there's the 2 egg yolks. And then it calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So we're going to go ahead and add that vanilla extract to it. A teaspoon of vanilla extract. It calls for 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to add that next. That's right, yes. We're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, just because this is unsalted butter. So we're going to add that in, and we're going to mix it again. So I think that's about what we need. Take it back down to stir. All right, the next thing we're going to add is our all-purpose flour. And here is our all-purpose flour. We're going to mix this in as we go. So this is the first cup of flour. And then I'm going to add the second cup of flour. And we'll do the same thing. I'm going to just add this while it's mixing. All right. We're going to measure this next. Okay. Go ahead and just dump that in since that's just a 1/3 cup. All right, so the next step says to use either, if you have like a cookie spoon, it's a tablespoon, or use a measuring spoon. And what we're going to do is we are going to, that's about that much. And then we're going to roll these into balls. We're just going to test this first batch out, make sure everything goes okay. Because there's nothing like messing up a batch of cookies from scratch. I'm going to start out with maybe 6 of these. Make sure everything's good, and then I'll bake the rest after. So I want to just make enough that we can bake them and test them, taste test them, and see what we think. We're just going to go in like this. Make sure that they're not too. Looks pretty good. Flatten this one. Do a thumbprint. Alright, so I'm going to take the strawberry preserves. We're just going to add just a little bit to each one. I don't want to put too much in there because I think they might make a mess. So let's just kind of do this. So we're going to put maybe a half teaspoon or so in each one. So you're just filling in the indentation that you made. Like that for each one. I just don't want to put too much. It's kind of hard. These are preserves, so I'm kind of going around the big, like the big chunks of strawberry. Putting the filling in. All right, I think they are looking pretty good. The only one I'm worried about is this one being maybe a little full. So let's see if we can make our pocket a little bit deeper. Okay, so we are going to stick these in the oven at 350, and they're going to cook for about 12 to 14 minutes. Try it at 12 minutes, see how it does, and I'll check back in when they're done for a taste test. Okay, so this is the second batch that just came out, and I think these look so much better. And these are with the blackberry jam. So I think I have enough to make maybe a dozen more, and then we'll be done. It's time for a taste test. So I'm going to get one off the plate. This is what they ended up looking like. And I'm going to give my daughter one. She's off camera, but she is going to try one. So let's see how they taste. You ready? Those are good. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Wow. Very shortbready. Very buttery. Mm-hmm. Now with this second batch, I did use less of the jam, which I think will be good. These are good though. They're good with the strawberry. It's so warm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, you need to make these. I'm going to link the recipe below for you, and I'll show you when the others come out, kind of give you a final picture. But oh my goodness, these are good, simple to make. Probably took an hour time total. So make these cookies. Here's the final look at the Thumbprint buttery shortbread cookies we made today. Overall, I'm very pleased with how they turned out, and I did like the strawberry and the blackberry jam, so I think they look really cute. So overall, yes, I'm very pleased, and really they didn't take that long to make. So our cookies are done, and of course I have Teddy here. It's time for his nap. So it's time for me to do a little bit of reading. I finished the book Beg, Borrow, or Steal last night, and now I'm starting this book, which is called The Reformatory. Seen great reviews on this book, and this is by Tananarive Due, and it is a historical fiction book that takes place in the 50s or 1950, it says. So I'm just going to kind of read the jacket to you and let you know what it's about, and this might be something that you're interested in picking up too if you like historical fiction, especially Southern historical fiction. I really enjoy reading these. So 12-year-old Robbie Stevens Jr. is sentenced to 6 months at the Gracetown School for Boys for kicking the son of the largest landowner in town in defense of his older sister, Gloria. So begins Robbie's journey further into the terrors of the Jim Crow South. in the very real horror of the school they call the Reformatory. Robbie has a talent for seeing ghosts or haints, but what was once a comfort to him after the loss of his mother has become a window into the truth of what happens at the Reformatory. Boys forced to work to remediate their so called crimes have gone missing, but the haints Robbie sees hint at worse things. Through his friends Redbone and Blue, Robbie is learning not just the rules, but how to survive. Meanwhile, Gloria is rallying every family member and connection in Florida to find a way to get Robbie out before it's too late. So that really sounds good to me. If you want to pick that up and read it, it's called The Reformatory, and I'm sure I'll be giving you some updates. This book is 565 pages, so this one might take me a few days, just depending on what I have going on. So thank you so much for joining me the last 2 days of my day in the life of a retired teacher. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.